I'm not gonna lie, anime games have not exactly been on my #1 priority in the me playing games department. Every single time I play some form of an anime game, it's almost exactly the same as the anime game I played previously. And that's kind of how it is when it comes to these types of games where they focus on combat as the main mechanic and making the moves from the anime version into the game version. And honestly, I'm sick of it. There are dozens of anime game franchises that are pretty much built around the same old mechanic, literally keeping the same mechanic from the old game and shaking it up for the new one. The best way to sort of describe it is kind of how like your teacher would say you're allowed to use information from different websites for your project, but not to copy and paste it because that would be plagiarism. So what you end up doing is you copy the information, put in some word scramble websites so that it doesn't look like you're copying and pasting, but as if you're using your own words. That's pretty much anime game series that have been going on for a long time now. And one game series that particularly does this is Dragon Ball, with the only good games that I found in fun is Budokai Tenkaichi 3, Dragon Ball Xenoverse, and Dragon Ball FighterZ, especially Dragon Ball FighterZ. That game is basically Street Fighters but better. Everything else is either really mid or it's just the same as the previous game before but worse. And I think Bandai Namco, the creator of most of the anime related video games you play, must have figured this out because they're going through some crazy hoops to fresh up these type of anime games. I mean, this Dragon Ball game is literally just Dead by Daylight. But hey, in this video I don't plan on talking about Dragon Ball or just this overall rant on why anime games need to change. That's a whole different video. I plan on talking about one particular game from years ago that basically broke the internet along with showed that what a single person along with a very small team could do with limited resources than a giant multi-million-dollar gaming company dev couldn't do right. This particular game is actually a fan-made one, so it really says a lot. Now before I talk about the fan-made game, let me first talk about the game that was made by the Big Boy company. As I've stated before, Bandai Namco is responsible for most of the anime games out there, including the Attack on Titan one. Now, as a man who fell in love with the Attack on Titan manga and fell even more in love with the anime, I for one couldn't wait to see this game come out. And I mean, I had my doubts, but you know, who doesn't? And finally, when the game dropped years later, I can officially say that it was mid. Like, very mid. Mid as hell. I mean, I wasn't honestly expecting much, but I mean, come on. This was the one game you could not fuck up Bandai Namco, and what you end up doing, you fuck it up. Now, granted, the reviews for this game were actually really good, and many people actually enjoyed the game, but if we're looking at things in a more my perspective, I will tell you that the game was stiff as hell. The mechanics along with the movements and smoothness of the game just felt like every other anime game I've played before, where they do that stupid short pause thing, you know, that slow things down for a sec. Now, that's how you know you're playing a Bandai Namco game. Anyway, I feel like the game was lacking the ability to feel like you're in the game rather than you just playing it. And I know that sounds like some IGN video game journalism bullshit, but you gotta understand. Attack on Titan was the one anime game that just had to feel different from the others out there. And although they did manage to do some things right, it just did not feel right or the same. Now, when I heard that there was going to be a second game, I thought that maybe they learned from their mistakes and were actually going to make this game very fun. Well, what do you think they did? Did they A, actually improve from their previous game and made it better? B, they made it worse? Or C, they made it mid? It's C. Of course it's C. Honestly, the only thing the game had going was the story, because it was actually pretty different in some ways than the actual anime, which I did appreciate. It's not every day you see people change the anime story and actually make it good. But gameplay wise, overall, it wasn't really as fun. It never came close, unlike the Attack on Titan tribute game made by Feng Lee. Now, if you've heard of this game before or even played it, you would know that this game is like the prime definition of a fun anime game. The Attack on Titan tribute game is a fan-made game developed by a Chinese developer named Feng Lee. It was inspired by obviously the popular anime and manga series Attack on Titan and was first released in 2013. Now, this game got a lot of popularity among fans of the series and quickly became a sensation. One of the reasons was why the game was so popular was its unique gameplay mechanics, which required the players to have a good reflex and thinking. The game also featured a wide range of customization options, allowing you, the player, to create their own character and equip them with different weapons and gear. The game allows players to take the role of a member of the Scout Regiment and fight against the Titans. Players can use the ODM gear to move around the map and attack the Titans by aiming their weak spots, such as the nape of the neck. The game also includes a multiplayer mode, which I fucking enjoyed, which allows players to team up and fight against the Titans together. The game is played from a third-person perspective and features unique movement systems such that allows players to swing around the environment using their ODM gear. The ODM gear is consistent of 2 grappling hooks that can be fired at the building at other objectives, allowing the players to swing through the air and move quickly around the map. Players can also use their ODM gear to attack Titans by aiming at their weak spots, which are technically located at the back of the necks, as I've stated before. Successful attacks on the Titan's weak spot will cause them to be defeated, while attacks on other parts of the body might not do much damage. The game features a variety of different Titans, each with their own unique strength and weaknesses. Some Titans are smaller and faster, while others are more larger and powerful. Some Titans can even regenerate their health, making them more difficult to defeat. To make things even more challenging, the game features a stamina system that limits how much a player can use their ODM gear before they need to rest. Additionally, the game has a time limit, forcing players to be quick and efficient in their movements. Overall, the gameplay mechanic of the Attack on Titan tribute game are fast-paced, require a lot of skill and precision. The game awards players who are able to fast maneuver this movement system and use them to advantage when attacking Titans. It's no surprise that the game became such a popular sensation among fans of the Attack on Titan series. This game was honestly one of the best, and it made you actually feel like you were actually in the anime. It's also a pretty fun thing because I remember when it was discussed about ODM gear and it could be pretty difficult to control at first, and in this tribute game and actually being able to control the movements when using the gear is actually really hard at first as well. Like, your hand coordination at first is going to be like all fucks, and you're probably going to use all your fingers on one hand for the keyboard section, but over time you will actually get used to it. Now, the community for this game was actually a really strong one when the game first dropped. I remember seeing YouTubers like Smosh Games do videos on this game because it was actually so fun. The community surrounding the Attack on Titan game was one of the key factors contributing to its success. Fans of the series quickly embraced the game and formed a tit-night community of players who shared strategies, tips, tricks for playing the game. The community was primarily based on the game's official forum where players could discuss the game, share their custom content, and organize multiplayer games. The forum was also a place for players to report bugs, suggest new features for the game, with Feng Lee, which implemented a future update, blah blah blah, the usual things. In addition to the official forum, there was also several fan-made communities and Discord servers dedicated to the game. These communities were a place for players to connect with each other, share fan art and cosplay, and organize tournaments and other events. The Attack on Titan tribute game community was known for being friendly and welcoming to new players. Many experienced players would offer advice and guidance to newcomers, helping them improve their skills and get more out there in the game. The community was also very supportive of content creators who would often share their custom maps, skins, and other creations with the communities. One of the most significant aspects of the community was the amount of custom content created by their members. Players would often create custom maps, skins, and even custom game modes, adding to the game's replayability and providing new challenges for other players. The game's modding community was especially active and produced a wealthy of custom content ranging from new Titans and character models to new game modes and mechanics. These mods allowed the players to customize their experience and explore new aspects of the game, extending its lifespan beyond what the original developer had planned out. Another notable aspect of the community was the number of tournaments and competitive events organized by its members. These events ranged from small-scale casual tournaments to large-scale competitive events with significant prizes. Overall, the Attack on Titan tribute game community was a thriving, creative, and supportive community that contributes to the game's success and helped build a strong and passionate fan base for the Attack on Titan series. Now, over the years, there have been many different Attack on Titan fan games, and a lot of them do bring out the feeling of you being in the game, and gives you the feeling that you get when you were watching the anime. But when it comes down to the funnest and greatest OTN fan game out there, it has to be this game. Indie game devs are what seems to be the future of not only producing anime fan games, but just regular games in general. And I love that because these creators will go all out with no restrictions holding them back, and really being able to go all out on what people love and want. Now, if you actually want to go and try and play this game, you can't really, because it got taken down. And when I first went back to go check the website, I was actually pretty shocked about this. But thankfully, as I'm making this video, I found that people got their hands on the original download file and plastered it on the net. Not to mention, a lot of these downloadable versions of the games is modded up, making it fun for everyone. I also found out that the people behind the game are still working on it as we speak, making new improvements here and there. But yeah, that's kind of it. Honestly, the reason I'm even making this video is because I just happened to come across one of these modded versions of the game and just thought, hey, I should talk about it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see y'all in the next one. Like and subscribe. Bye bye.